And in the NFL, sorry to tell you, but Mike Tomlin, shout out to Mike Tomlin first of all before we talk NFL playoffs. Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, they were eliminated last week by the Houston Texans. But the Houston Texans is not a trash team. Led by C.J. Stroud, these guys, and D'Amico Ryans, very good coach. You know, shout out to that brother also. Two brothers, you don't got many brothers coaching in the NFL, but two of them went at each other, Pittsburgh and Houston, with Mike Tomlin and D'Amico Ryans last weekend. And Mike Tomlin, 19 years with only winning season, 19 years, no losing seasons, led Pittsburgh to a championship in Super Bowl 43 with Ben Roethlisberger, and he hasn't had no quarterback changes of those 19 years except for after 2021 when Ben Roethlisberger retired, and then he went on to like Kenny Pickett and other guys like that, you know, being a quarterback. But he's led this team to so many victories and had them prepared every season. Even if they wasn't the top dog team, they were still relevant. So how do you keep a football team in the NFL professionally so relevant? Shout out to Mike Tomlin for doing that for many years in Pittsburgh. Shout out to John Harbaugh, the Giants' new hire as head coach also. John Harbaugh was coaching Lamar Jackson and these guys over there in Baltimore. He was coaching of the Ravens, and he did a pretty good job over there. We know who he is. We know he knows his way around the coaching board, and he knows the X's and O's, but we want to see how he's going to convert that to getting this New York Giants team going. He's 63 years old. This guy, he's been coaching for a while, ever since Western Kentucky, you know, back then. And then he went into the NFL and took a job and started working his way up. He was in Philadelphia, you know, for about 9 years, when he was the special teams coach for about 8 years, and then 1 year for the defensive backs. And this year, he's been really working this thing out. You know, he's here with the New York Giants. They just hired him on 5 years, around $100 million. So he's pretty close to that Andy Reid contract, but we want results like Andy Reid brought in Kansas City. We want to see if he can bring us a championship. Because right now, today, you have, the NFL playoffs, the Buffalo Bills and the Broncos are going at it. I'm rocking with the Buffalo Bills. They're looking strong. There's no Lamar Jackson. There's no Patrick Mahomes. There's not too much of a threat or problem for the Buffalo Bills. But this Broncos team is seeming confident, being that they were one of the higher ranked teams and had a better record this season in the AFC. And I'm thinking that Bo Nix versus this man, Josh Allen, on the quarterback end, I think Josh Allen has the edge, and then we're going to have to make sure that this veteran Buffalo team get to move like it to be able to be the favorite, because they're 12-5. Broncos are 14-3, and I think that Buffalo is going to make the difference and take this game at 4:30 today. It's going to be real special. Watch out for that Buffalo defense and how they play. They missed some things last week against C.J. Stroud and the Texans, so the game was stretched out. So that last minute and a half, under 2 minutes, is when that drop happened with Josh Allen, and they made it happen. But we're going to see, we want something special and direct this week. We want Buffalo to go in there and dominate, be able to see what's happening, because Bo Nix and these fellas over there, Cortland Sutton, they've been knowing how to move the ball and get the field, you know, open and play in their favor. But we're going to see what happens over there. Texans and the Patriots tomorrow. I'm believing that the Houston Texans, they have that defense for it, but these Patriots, they have a Drake May that's on fire, that's been going on doing this thing with Stephon Diggs, who knows his way around the field, and he has good game tape, so they're trying to see what's happening, and they're trying to get better. You know, they want to go out there and prove a point. Stephon Diggs, this is a signature year for him, over 1,000 yards receiving, and shout out to him and Cardi B. But this Texans team right here, this Texans team with that defense, with Donnelly and Will Peterson, these guys are not out there joking. These guys, Will Anderson Jr. and Donnelly is not playing. These guys might have 2 sacks apiece. I would not be surprised. The sky's the limit for these guys. and they have a pressure that they can bring and a force. And then along with that, C.J. Stroud is going to be out there working his way on the offense without Nico Collins. So that's a disadvantage to them for this week against the Patriots because Nico Collins is wide receiver 1, and we're going to have to see how this works out and how this balances out for this Houston Texans team. Because I like the way that the Houston Texans play. That's a young squad. They very active, and they know what they got to do. They knocked out, some teams to get here, and they got to this place for a reason. The 49ers and the Seahawks, they play tonight. This is a test for Sam Darnold to show his growth and to be able to put the 49ers in their place, for him to go out there and say, okay, well, thank you, coach, for believing in me. Now let me rise to the occasion and be able to show that I'm much more better than Kyle Shanahan and the team that he has put together over there in San Francisco, and start connecting with receivers. He had Jackson Njigba Smith, so he's got the number 1 receiver in the league. So Sam Darnold has an advantage already with that. This guy's a scrambler. He's a playmaker. So Jackson Njigba, I think that it's going to be scary trying to see how the 49ers are going to try to contain him. Because right now they're already trying to get their own offense going with Christian McCaffrey, and the situation with George Kittle and so much has been rocking the 49ers. Brock Purdy is trying to match up the best he can against Sam Darnold. I think it's going to be an interesting battle, an interesting fight, but I want to rock with Seattle on this. I really do. Sam Darnold, I forgive him for his ways and days with the New York Jets, but now I want to see what they're going to have convert and happen over here today at 8 o'clock tonight against this 49ers team. I think that the 49ers are going to bring that defensive pressure, and they're going to have to line up pretty well, because one thing about this new Seattle Seahawks offense is that these guys can attack and they can get out there and they can get at you. So this is going to be something to watch. Chicago and LA. Los Angeles Rams, they're an overall team. They have offense and defense led by Matthew Stafford, and he's going to be out there with Kyren Williams trying to prove a point and let them know that he is a Super Bowl champion, and he's trying to get back to that Super Bowl to prove a point and get a chip, because he feels as if it's owed to them and they have a really great shot. But I'm thinking that they have to pump their brakes, because Caleb Williams and Romeo Odunze over in Chicago, these guys are trying to go for that W. And I think that it might work out for Chicago if everybody played their A game. So that's what it is. That's what it's going to be. And I think it's going to be a real great game. So check that out. I'm calling out Buffalo Bills, the Houston Texans, the Seattle Seahawks, and the Chicago Bears to be able to win. So stay with us. Watch these NFL playoffs. And as far as the NBA, I hope the Knicks do great. All New York teams, you know this. The ladies' unrivaled season started back with the basketball. Shout out to Nafisa Collier and for Brianna Stewart for doing that. And you know what I'm saying? Blessings. Enjoy your weekend. Check us out, Don Boy 718. We online everywhere, social media, from YouTube to TikTok to Facebook, Instagram. Hit us up. Let us know what your thoughts are and send us some good ideas. I think it's going to be wonderful, and we're going to get with y'all later on. We're going to have a lot more lives, and we're going to be bringing the season real lit for 2026. So thank y'all for supporting us and for staying there.